Good morning and welcome back to Diving Deep into My Little Pony, the role-playing game here on Gaming with ADHD. I am Brian, your wonderful host. Trust me, I am wonderful, folks. And I am joined today, as always for this series, by, I guess, who is now Dice Princess. What's up, Dice Princess? How you doing?
I'm all right. I might need more dice.
You might need more. You have the largest collection of dice of people who don't play regularly that I know. Just gonna throw that out there.
Next to you, maybe.
Excuse me, am in a game every couple of weeks.
Look, when we
Thank you very
travel
much.
and you drag me to game stores, I get souvenir dice.
That is true. You haven't done that the last couple of times.
Because when I have 2 dice bags full of dice, it's kind of hard to justify more dice.
Is it though?
I,
Is it though?
I don't know. I just need to play. That way I can start being mad at the dice and throwing it across the room or putting it in a dice bag for rejects.
A dice bag for rejects.
These dice are going to learn that they don't get to piss me off.
I was gonna say a dice
grounded.
jail, but
Yeah.
dice bag for
prison.
rejects. Oh, that's fantastic. So, all right. Well, what are we talking about today?
My Little Pony, the role-playing game.
Well, yeah, but I meant like the actual subject for today.
Making a character.
Making a character.
I'm going to make you into a pony. Ah!
Hey, I even have the shirt.
So do I.
So,
you can see it on me.
It's true from the hilt. There is a point where it just stops working. So, anyhow, all right. So, before we get started, folks, do make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you are new here, I try to put out a few videos each week covering all sorts of gaming topics, whether it's tabletop, board games, miniatures, role-playing, or anything in between. And I'd love for you to come along and see what we have to share. But I guess with that out of the way, oh yeah, I suppose I should share this screen. I usually have this set up. Man, I am bad at this today. Hey.
We all know better.
I know you do. So, all right, folks. So, to give a little bit of heads up about how we're going to do this today. So, if Seraphis were here, he would all like you. Well, okay, actually, any of you who've been here in the past know that sometimes my eyes get a little bit bigger than my head when trying to plan for this. So
you be too ambitious, really?
I know. But basically, we're going to try and get through essentially 4 chapters. But we're going to do
I didn't
that.
sign up for that.
Can you let me finish?
Wait, that's what everybody's here for. The peanut gallery.
But the thing is, we are going to streamline it. Basically, there are, for character creation, and you'll see this as it comes up, there's 3 main points. There's your origin, for in D&D terms, basically it would be your race, your influences, which are basically some background, kind of like give you some character abilities, but also like some origin story kind of stuff, and then the role or your class. And instead of reading through all of that information and just kind of info dumping it, essentially what we're going to do today is we're actually going to make characters. So essentially we're going to cover the the choices that we make, but we're not going to actually cover every single aspect. So for that, you will want to pick up your own copy of the book, which you can find linked down in the description, either to Amazon or Drive Through RPG. So with that said, I think we might be ready to start.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to how about you read off our first
Oh,
little
the
piece
first
here?
page. It's time to fulfill your destiny and become the pony you've always wanted to be. In the My Little Pony role playing game, each player has their own character that they use to tell their part of the story. Whether you want to play a familiar My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic character, or create your own original character, you need a persona and a backstory, and you need to work out your character's abilities and the rules for how they play.
All right. Ah. All right. Character creation is where your imagination meets the game's tools. Maybe you have an idea for your character and want to find an option that matches, or you may see a rule and be inspired to take your character in a new direction. As long as you end up with a character ready to play, there's no wrong way to get there. This chapter is a step-by-step character creation guide to help you design the My Little Pony character you want to play. As you complete each step, record the information on your character sheet found at the back of this book. You will use it to reference all of the details of your character in the future, both while playing the game and when advancing your character after you level up. If you want to just dive into playing right now, you can use one of the characters from the appendix at the end of the book. Um, you can even make a couple of changes just to make it your own. But while character creation can take some time, creating a character of your own that you can watch grow and develop is one of the best and most rewarding parts of role playing.
And consequently, parenting.
And
We did that thrice.
we did. And they're mostly okay.
Mostly.
Mostly.
We are their parents. That's why they're just mostly.
Mostly.
If they need
Exactly.
therapy, they can go pay for it themselves.
All right. Tell us about character concepts.
Oh, okay. Creating a character is each player's opportunity to create a brand new pony and enter the world of Equestria with them. Some of the rules and numbers might seem daunting at first, but they are not the heart of your character. Once you know what you're doing, excuse me, you will find picking all the skills, options, and abilities for your very own pony to be lots of fun. Creating a character starts with an idea. Who is your character? What are they like? What can they do? You can create something completely original or base your initial idea on one of the main six or another character you already know. Whatever you think would be cool and fun to play is what matters. The character will change and grow as you play, so character creation is just the beginning of your pony's journey. So you might start with, my pony is like Fluttershy meets Rarity. Oh, are you really interested in fashion but hesitate to share your designs? Do you love animals and design them little outfits to wear? Do your tea parties with the local wildlife look more like the grand galloping gala? You might think, my pony is like Applejack, except what about your pony do you want to have in common with Applejack? What about your pony who what about your pony is different from Applejack? Maybe you are a Pegasus who takes cloud toiling as seriously as Applejack takes farming. Maybe you're as honest as Applejack, but where her honesty comes off as wise, Yours comes in the form of riddles. Once you have a basic idea, you can ask more involved questions. What kind of character feels like it would be fun to play? Do you want to focus on your pony's job in Ponyville? Their hobbies? Maybe you know what their cutie mark looks like, but not what it means. Wow. How can you do that? Anyway, it can be helpful to start with the familiar and then work towards the original. It can also be helpful to think about the character creation choices you have to make and how and ask how many sorry, and ask how different options impact your character. I'll finish the two paragraphs here. You don't need to figure out everything straight away. It's okay to pick some random things you think are cool as you go and make sense of it all at the end, just as you might have a strong idea from the very start. Every step in the process is a way to develop your character, so feel free to adapt and change as you go. Just go back a few steps and pick a different option. When you have a grasp of the character you want to create, making character building choices gets easier. When you feel confident in your concept, you're ready to move on.
All right, hold on just a second. Okay. So, yeah, all this obviously is pretty basic stuff. If you've played any role-playing games in the past, um, you know, that is, pretty standard. And then you get people like Grim in chat who make you concerned.
But do they
So
use the lotion first?
do they use the lotion first?
Did you want me to read the cutie marks, or are you gonna do that?
You could read the cutie marks.
Okay, I can. You want me to do that right now, or do you want to finish jabbering?
No, go ahead. Sorry, the chat and the baby and everything just kind of
All at
distracted
once.
me.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I heard Maverick and I'm like, well, I better mute. All right. So, cutie marks. That's the picture on the pony's butt, if you didn't realize that already, just so you know. Butt marks or tattoos. Ooh, tramp stamp. Anyway, whatever. Cutie marks. All adult pony types have a cutie mark. Tramp stamp. It is a symbol on the flank unique to that character. It shows their nature, talents, or even their destiny. Ooh, destiny tramp stamp. Anyway, as part of character creation, you should decide what your pony's cutie mark looks like, remembering that it gives you a bonus to a particular skill. Your cutie mark perk. Wow. Now I want a tramp stamp. It might be inspired by your character's special skills, role, or influences. More detail on cutie marks can be found in the next chapter, pages, blah blah blah. Ooh, they have a typo.
They
Papers.
do.
Papers.
on
It's
papes
papers.
3031.
Papes.
So yeah, I will be honest. I think cutie mark, for me is going to be the hardest thing to come up with because I don't understand it.
You got lots of cheeks, right? Multiple cheeks.
Malachi apparently sees a midlife crisis coming. For me or Kim?
No, it's you, dear. I'm the sane one out of the two of us.
All right. And then from the hilt would like to put his cutie mark on his cheek. Oh, wait.
Oh,
let's be honest.
I was making comments on the ones you hadn't highlighted.
Let's be honest, Chris. It is on a cheek, just not the one that you mentioned. All right. Step 2, choose origin, influences, and a role. Now, for today's video, this is what we're going to try and get through, is getting through origins, influences, and role. So keep that in mind. You can choose your origin, influences, and role in any order. It really doesn't matter which choices you make first, as long as you remember to do all three and write down all of the benefits your character gets from each step. Each option has its own chapter, so you can refer to each of those for more detail on what they mean. And there we go.
Oh, hold on. Malachi was actually talking about me because tramp stamps equal midlife crisis or something like that. Yeah, makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
You can
Well,
continue.
the next 25 years is going to be interesting.
You live that long.
If I live that long. All right. Origin. Your origin is the type of pony your character is. Earth pony, Pegasus, or unicorn, but not alicorn, at least not yet.
What?
If you they get into it, but essentially alicorns are like
I know what they are.
I was going to say like evolved ponies. So it's like
Unicorns that grow wings or Pegasus that grow horns.
Right, but essentially that's like when you've fully leveled up.
Level up, yeah. Okay, sorry.
If you're a visual person, you probably already know whether your pony has wings, a horn, or a smoother silhouette. It's okay to choose an origin based on the look of your pony. That's how a lot of us choose which pony we left the toy store with. I did not leave the toy store with a pony. If you choose to play an earth pony, you'll be better at the basics. They start with more health and move as fast on the ground as any Pegasus can move in the air. They also start with a general perk, something every pony else has to wait until level 4 for. They may not have flashy horns and majestic wings, but they have a solid core. If you choose to play a Pegasus, the sky's your limit. Other ponies see chasms as obstacles, cliffs as journeys, and the world in front of them is the only world they know. Your wings let you see the world from different angles and interact with it in the same way. If you choose a unicorn, your telekinesis ability simplifies tasks that other ponies might struggle with. You can reach what you can see. Where other ponies can only hold things in one hoof and their snout, you can hold items in the air around you. Your connection to magic also makes it easier for you to learn spellcasting if that interests you. Your origin gives you many benefits and abilities. It defines your starting health, movement rate, and cutie mark perk, a skill you have special aptitude with. You also gain an essence increase and a few special abilities or perks.
So, like, if I was a unicorn, I could, like, laugh at the other ponies and be like, "Can you even lift, bro?"
Dork. All right. Tell us about influences.
I'm under the influence? Okay. No. Influences are experiences that have affected your character either in the past or present. Oh, so trauma. And you may choose up to 3 of them. Chapter 3 introduces several influences you can choose from. Each influence has a description, a perk, and a hang-up. The perk is a bonus, the hang-up is a penalty. Ah, yes, so trauma. If you decide If you decide to have only one influence, you don't need to worry about the hangups. You only get hangups on your second and third influence choices. If you pick a second influence, you must also take the hangup from one of your chosen influences. If you pick a third influence, you must also pick 2 of the hangups from your chosen influences. But the good news is that you can always get the perks of all the influences you pick. Each influence also has a list of background bonds. These are quirks, habits, experiences, and personality traits a pony with that influence might have. You can pick a background bond for each influence you have to build your character and their backstory. But you can make up your own or pick one from a different influence if it's more suitable.
Okay.
Do you want me to read the example?
No, we've been skipping the examples. So
Okay. Do you want to get this one, or do you want to discuss what we just read?
So I'll be honest, like when I've read over G.I. Joe, the influences is actually kind of interesting, and I like how they do it. Everybody in the audience, you'll see as we get into it. But I like how they give you a choice, because all the influences give you a bonus, but there's also a possibility of the penalty, and the fact that they let you decide, okay, do you want to get a bunch of bonuses but then have to take the penalties as well, or do you want to keep it simple and just take the one? So I like that they actually give you the flexibility in that.
Well, and I'm wondering if you take more than one influence, notwithstanding the hangups, if you'll have, I guess, skills that kind of negate some of the hangups. I don't know. I wonder if
Well,
it might be beneficial to even just deal with the hangups.
that's the thing. You'll see when we get there. The hangups are actually really good as far as like role playing potential. They're not like they're not massive penalties. It's things. And folks, you'll see when we get there.
Well, maybe we should read the example then, because it makes more sense.
No, again, because we'll get to that.
We'll
Look,
get there when we get there.
I'm trying to get through 4 chapters. If we read all the examples, it's not going to help.
And it talks about being a bookworm, and that's totally me. Anyway, all right.
All right, fillies and colts. If you want to, and actually, I want to read this because I think this is a really interesting idea as well. If you want to create a simpler character, you might choose to play as one who hasn't gained their cutie mark yet, just like the cutie mark crusaders. As fillies and colts are much younger than a usual starting character, they don't have to complete all the same steps. Creating a filly or colt is the same as creating any other character except for the following. Origin. While they should pick an origin, fillies and colts do not get a cutie mark perk. They do get all the other benefits of an origin though. Influences. Fillies and colts may only pick one influence and cannot pick any more, so have no hangups. Role. Some fillies and colts do have a connection to the elements of harmony at an early age, but many don't until they get their cutie mark. So fillies and colts do not usually begin the game with a role or the essence bonuses, etc. that come with it until they have their cutie mark. However, if your character is the only filly or colt in the group, or the GM plans to run a lot of adventures before allowing the characters to gain a cutie mark, the game master may allow a foal to pick a role. For game purposes, fillies and colts are still considered level 1 even without a role. Once your character gains their cutie mark, they may complete all the steps they missed. How you gain a cutie mark is up to the game master and the story, as it only appears when your character truly comes to understand who they are and what their talents are.
So does that sort of mean that you can just play and not actually assign yourself to doing like magic or any of those
Essentially, yes, because that's what the roles are. Roles are their kind of their version of classes.
Right. I'm trying to compare it to like D&D stuff.
Right. But what I think is interesting here is, again, remember that this game is technically aimed at kids. And so I think it actually makes it a little bit easier to get a kid into the game. Hey, here's a way to essentially make a kid character. Okay. Because while like I haven't watched the show, but I'm assuming all of the ponies kind of act more like teenagers as opposed to kids.
Right. There are 3 levels. They are the younger kids, and then they are the teenager group, and then they are somewhat adult-like characters.
Right. And so
the adults have more powers, I think.
right. And so I think from a gameplay perspective, especially with little kids, who are learning the game, learning how to adapt to all of this stuff, giving them something that's just a nice, here's a basic, you've got a couple of things, and then as they're playing, start building things in, like when
you should highlight this comment from the hilt real quick on the bottom, because I actually I understand that, and I get that kids wouldn't want to play kids, but I think that maybe if you're introducing kids to this game, maybe everybody play the kid character and keep it simplistic just to get their toes wet kind of thing is kind of like my thought on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it's so much about playing the whole game as a kid. I
Right.
think I think the whole point to the fillies and the colts is here's a way to start easy for the kids and let them grow into it. Um
Right.
and
And we
yeah,
just
and he did just say, I understand the concept.
right.
I was just saying, yeah,
No, but we can definitely well, I felt like we could expound on that for anybody else who's watching.
right, exactly. I do think you're right, Chris. Yeah, the little kid doesn't want to play the little kid who's always being bossed around by the teenagers or by the adults.
Right.
You know. And so I think that is something that's good to keep in mind, especially if you're going to run this game for kids, is you know, especially if you're going to use the fillies and colts option to
Well,
you
and
know
I wonder, like, the age group that you can actually target with the younger, the fillies and the Colt characters. Like, how young do you think you could introduce this game to and get them kind of, you know, get them a taste of what the gameplay is like at a very basic level?
yeah. I
I mean, I'm sure reading would help, so maybe 5-year-olds, but
I think for anything like this, I think like a yeah, it's the reading comprehension. Like, yes, you can do a lot with a kid without needing the reading comprehension.
that's true. If, like, an adult plays with them and helps them walk through, you could probably
Right. But like
well, they
with the
might.
triplets, like the books that I took over to them, like I don't think they'd be as appropriate if the kids were like 8, and they're 10 right now.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where my baseline is. What's the reading level? What's the comprehension level? Because I remember for me, the first time I got a role playing book, I think I was 12. Um, didn't quite understand it because I had no one to play with, but
I was in
I
my
at least
40s. When I
no,
got my first
you were technically in your 20s. I brought them into this relationship.
no. They were not mine. This one is mine.
That's true. That's
And I
true.
think didn't I just buy it, like, a couple of years ago, or has it been longer than that?
Well, this one's only been a couple of years, but you
Uh,
technically have the other one, which has been a little bit longer. So,
uh,
um, Chris agrees with us. Grim actually, I think, brings up a really good point. Like how a lot of seasoned players will start at level 3 or higher, whereas a newbie will start at level 1 to get the gist of the game before getting more complex.
right.
Exactly.
And
And,
that's
and
kind of the idea with the fillies and the colts.
right, exactly. And I think they just still leave it as okay, the fillies are still level 1
Right.
just to keep it simple instead of trying to figure out, oh, here's how you add level 0 to the game. So just go. What did I do? What did I do? Um
What did you do?
I hit the weird button on my keyboard that does weird things.
Uh, well, that's because you're weird.
I think it's supposed to be a hotkey, but I haven't programmed it. So anyhow.
All
All
right.
right. Tell us about rolls.
Sure. When Twilight Sparkle needed to end the eternal darkness Nightmare Moon cast across Equestria, she needed the help of Rarity, Applejack, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, and Rainbow Dash. Each embodied a spirit of harmony, and the friendship they forged sparked the element inside of them. This was their first of many victories they won through the magic of friendship. Now it's your turn. Does your generosity help others fulfill their needs at the expense of your wants? Do you enlighten others through your honesty and the perspective it gives you? Is your heart filled with so much kindness it overflows? Do you raise spirits and make the bad times not so bad through laughter? Is your loyalty to your friends so deep rooted that they always feel supported? Or have you unlocked the mysteries of the universe through the magic of friendship? Each role has almost 24 rules tied to it, including eventually turning your pony into a princess or other royalty of your choosing, of the spirit of harmony you embody at level 20. If you're intimidated by the rules and worried you have to read over 100 rules before you decide which role is right for you, you don't. A new character only needs to know how their role works at level 1. And even then, you can choose your role based on the element of harmony it's tied to and go from there. At level 1, your role grants you 2 essence increases, +2 and +1, and as many as 3 new abilities based on the element of harmony your role aligns with.
All right. Your character's level defines how experienced they are as a pony adventurer. As they gain experience from adventuring, they get to increase their level. Each new level brings more abilities, resilience, and skill. Your character has 20 levels to grow, so you don't need to be your best self right away. Rainbow Dash talks about wanting to fly with the Wonderbolts in her first scene in the first episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, but she doesn't start training with them until the third season and isn't a full member of the team until season 6. How many seasons did this show go for?
A lot.
Right, googly moogly.
Had a lot of guest stars too.
Before Rarity owned a fashion store franchise in major cities and was a pony every pony should know, she owned one shop
Obviously.
in a small town. It's good to have goals for where your character will be later on in the campaign. Not only does it give you something to work towards, it gives your game master ideas about what's important to you.
All right. You want me to do this now?
Yep.
Okay. Your character has 4 essence scores: strength, speed, smarts, and social, which reflect your pony's body and mind and how you've trained them and put them to use. At a glance, you know what your character is best at based on which essence score is highest. Your essence score tell you how advanced your character is in each trait, and those numbers translate into your defenses and skills. Each essence score generally ranges between 1 and 10, with 5 being the average, but some exceptional ponies and creatures can have essence scores as high as 15. When you choose your origin and role, you gain essence score increases. Whether you increase your essence score as you go or you note your essence score increases to increase them all at once is up to you. Either way works. Additionally, you have 12 essence score increases to apply as you see fit between all your essences. It's recommended you either spread them evenly across your 4 essence scores or with 1 high essence score and 1 low essence score. If you want to spread them out differently, talk to your GM and make sure you don't make a character that's too narrowly focused. All of your essences must have at least 1 point, ideally 2 as the minimum. And here's a closer look at each essence score to help you decide how much to increase. That's a lot of essences, right?
Yeah, like I don't know if it was the way you were reading it or just the way it
Oh,
was written. Grim Squirrel, say essence
exactly.
score it.
Essence
Wow,
scores.
I could
I forgot the increases part.
I know that's where I tripped
Essence
up.
scores increases. Essence score increases. It makes my
So
brain
I
hurt.
mean, I understand the point to the wording because remember
Yes.
the role, the influences, and the origin can technically be picked at any time. That's why it's like, hey, just keep a note of this because you'll come back to it later. So, um,
Yes, I am. Did you see the comment,
yeah.
Brian? Don't get me started anytime I say Cobra Lie.
Oh my gosh, that's not a real thing.
Yes, it is. Oh, jeez.
All right, keep going with the
Okay.
essence
Oh, so you want me
scores.
to go through all okay. The essence scores. Strength. Oh my gosh, they're all S's. That's awesome. Okay. Strength measures physical power, athleticism, and physical fitness. This essence score helps you hit harder, lift heavy things, or tough out physical attacks.
Okay, real quick, I do think it's really interesting that in My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, they're talking about hitting things.
Well, yeah, but like the ground pony, Applejack, she does a lot of very physical activities on her farm. So
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
You're hitting the tractor. Exactly.
yeah. You're hitting that apple tree, getting those apples out. Anyway, all right. Speed measures agility and reflexes. This essence score helps you avoid attacks, target threats at a distance. Yes, the range. Sneak into secret locations and spring about gracefully. That's not my skill, that's for sure. All right, smarts measures awareness, reasoning, memory, and knowledge. It also helps you resist being manipulated. Social measures diplomacy, personality, confidence, and ability to perform. It helps you negotiate and avoid being taken advantage of. Do you want me to go through all this?
Yeah.
Okay. Your character sheet has space reserved for each essence score. You should find they all add up to 16 after all of your essence score increases. 12 base essence score increases, 1 essence score increase from your origin, and 3 essence score increases from your role. Your role essence score increases are important to keep track of. One will have gained +2 and another +1. The essence score that gets a +2 increase from your role is your diamond essence. Your role gives you another essence score increase every level, and your diamond essence increases the fastest. Ooh, a lot of S's. The essence score that gets a +1 increase from your roll at level 1 is your gold essence. It goes up the second fastest. You can wait until your silver essence score increase at third level to decide which essence score is silver and which is bronze. All of these essence score increases are added, and you're happy with your essence scores. You can calculate your defenses.
All right. So yeah, the
Oof.
reason I wanted to bring that up is because as I was reading through the roles a little bit, I noticed it's like, okay, diamond, gold, silver, bronze. I'm like, what are these? And so this is where it actually brings it up. So essentially it's what's your primary attribute and what's your
Secondary and so on.
right, exactly. So it's kind of weird, and like I said, it doesn't show up in a lot of places. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we covered that. Um let's see. All right.
Green box first.
Yeah, I'll do the green box and step 4, and then you can do step 5. All right.
Nope.
So, edge, snags, and shifts. Some rules you'll see come up in skill tests are edge, snag, and shifts. We'll take a proper look at them in Chapter 6, but here's some basic detail in the meantime. Main reason I'm bringing this up is because this does show up from time to time when we're talking about the different role abilities, the different influence bonuses, things like that. So figured just cover it now. All right, edges and snags come up when circumstances are exceptionally favorable or unfavorable. If an edge or snag applies, you roll the d20 twice. If you have an edge, you take the better of the two numbers for your test. If you have a snag, you use the worst. So essentially, it's advantage and disadvantage from Dungeons and Dragons. So pretty easy concept. A shift is when you're allowed to step the dice you are using for your skill up or down one size. So if you have a d6 for your skill and you gain an up shift of 1 or up arrow 1, your d6 becomes a d8 instead. If you suffered a downshift of 1, your d6 becomes a d4 instead. So I think this is kind of interesting. The fact that they're using D20 and step system for the dice, but I think it also makes it really easy to understand. So, all right. Step 4, defenses. Defenses usually form the base difficulty for your opponent's tests when they enter a conflict with your character. Each essence score is tied to a particular defense. Strength has toughness, speed has evasion, smarts has willpower, and social has cleverness. When some creature does something that might affect you, they usually roll a skill test and try to match or beat one of your defenses. Which defense will apply depends on how your opponent is trying to affect you and how you react to it. Your character sheet has space to write down your defenses. Each of your defense scores is equal to its essence score plus 10. If you have a social plus 5, or if you have social 5, then your cleverness is 15. If Discord thinks he can fool you, he'll have to get a 15 or higher on a deception test, which, let's be honest, he probably will. It's Discord. He's so tricky.
Yes, he is. Do you know who voiced Discord
I
in My
do
Little Pony?
not, because I did not watch the show.
Oh, now I have to. Okay, I know who it is, but my brain can't remember his name. I don't know
Folks,
why.
I'm just going to throw it out there. I have a feeling that I am about to do a deep dive through the My Little Pony series. I am afeared.
Don't be afeared. Anyway, okay, you want me to read? Sorry, I was actually looking it
I
up.
was say, if you're gonna bring up something like this, it's generally good to have it actually,
I'm
like,
totally was like waiting for
prepped.
someone to do it for me.
Look, we don't have a chat of 800 people that are going. Oh, John Delancey. Oh my!
Anyway, yes,
Did you hear that?
yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay.
And I think Weird Al voices the character. I think it's like grilled cheese or something. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've watched it. Okay, we'll go to skills. It's one thing to say you're strong, speedy, smart, or sociable, but your skills show how. There are several skills, and each one is grouped under a specific essence score. Your essence score gives you that many skill points. So if you have strength 6, you have 6 skill points to invest in any of the strength skills: athletics, brawn, conditioning, intimidation, and might. When you invest skill points into a skill, it increases its rank. Ranks are recorded as dice, and the bigger the die you roll for that skill, the better you usually are with it. A skill's possible ranks are from lowest to highest: D2, D4, D6, D8, D10, and D12. Your rank goes up by 1 for every skill point you invest in it. So if you invest 4 skill points into a skill, you are considered untrained. Wait, did I skip a
You
part? I did.
skipped. You
Wow.
skipped like 3 lines.
Do I really need my glasses checked? Okay, so if you invest 4 skill points into a skill, which is a lot, your rank is D8. That's very good. If you don't invest any skill points into a skill, you are considered untrained and you gain no extra die bonus, but you can still roll the D20 to attempt the action. Additionally, instead of spending a skill point to improve the die of a skill, you can instead buy a specialization. A specialization makes you very good at a particular aspect of that skill. You can read more about specializations and what they do on page 100. You can buy multiple specializations for the same or different skills, but it is not usually worthwhile buying specialization until that skill is at least rated at D4. The My Little Pony role playing game also has a special skill called spell casting. Unlike other skills, spell casting isn't tied to an essence. You can spend skill points from any essence on spell casting. However, while everyone can learn about magic, you need the magical general perk to be able to cast spells. Unicorns begin the game with this perk, and Earth ponies might choose it as their starting general perk. When you're choosing which skills to invest your skill points into, remember the skills you're already good at. Your cutie mark perk is something you are more adept in, so it's a good skill to have a high rank in. If you aren't sure which skills to invest some of your skill points into, ask other players what skills they have ranks in. If you have 2 speed skill points left and there are already 2 ponies in your party with acrobatics, but no one with, well, that's a big page. Uh, oh, there we are. Finesse. That gives you an idea where your skill points would help the most to round out the group's abilities. A good range of skills among the group will make sure everyone gets the chance to shine during the adventure. And there's the example. Okay. Beginning spells. If you begin the game with any rank in the spell casting skill, you will have been able to master a few spells. And that's in chapter 8. You begin the game with 1 spell mastered for every rank you have in the spell casting skill. So if you have a D4 in spellcasting, you already have mastered 2 spells. This works in just the same ways when you master a new spell when you increase your spellcasting skill. So you can only master a superior spell when you have a D6 in spellcasting and a virtuoso spell when you have a D10. Otherwise, you can choose any spell you like.
All right, I have a feeling we're gonna have
I
to
am getting all
realize
the S's.
a lot of that when we get to the magic chapter.
Sure.
All right,
But I thought we were covering that box, so I read it.
that's fine. All right, describe your character. Now that your character's concept and rules are tied up in a cute little package, it's time to brag about how cute that packaging is. What does your pony look like? What colors are their eyes, coat, and mane? What's their mane do like? Do they wear makeup, accessories, or clothes? And what does their cutie mark actually look like? How you picture your pony doesn't need to stay in your imagination. Your character sheet has a space for you to illustrate your pony. You might want to make a copy or a few copies of your character sheet now that it's filled out before you start drawing. You wouldn't want to have to rewrite everything by hand because a marker slipped. So I actually do think that is kind of fun that they give a, like, literally it's a whole page with essentially just like they give the outline. So essentially all the kid has to do is like draw the mane, draw the tail, draw the cutie mark, but like the hard parts, the legs, the body, the head are already there. So, you know, kid's not going to be too frustrated. It's like, oh, it doesn't look like a pony, you know. So, all right.
Do we want to read all these questions?
We're gonna skip this part.
What about
Because
the last question? So that's a lot of questions.
yeah, essentially this is all background character stuff that'll all come out over time. It's fine.
Well,
If
and then this little paragraph where it says, keep in mind that no choice you make is frozen in crystal. Your character's personality, goals, and build can change as the game goes on. And if you do end up with a character you're really not enjoying, you can talk to your GM and you can change your build or start a whole new character if you want to, which I think is pretty standard for D&D and other RPG games.
yeah, I mean, like for an adult game, I would tell them probably to suck it up, you know. But like, well, no, like okay, if
Yeah, but
you're
Ethan changed his character for the games that he used to play all the time.
let me
You can
finish.
finish now.
No, if you're in like the first or second episode and maybe your character concept isn't quite working for you, yeah, people are going to change.
Yeah.
You know, but
if it's not like
but deeper into the game, it's like come on, you know. Anyways, I don't know. Everybody's got different opinions on that.
Yep.
So, all right. The next 3 chapters take an in-depth look at 3 aspects of character creation: origins, influences, and roles. If you know which options you want for your character, you can just read up on those for now. But if you are not sure which choices to make, you can read all about the options here before you make each decision. All right. Choosing your origin. Go for it.
Oh, you want me to do it? Okay.
Yeah.
There are lots of different ponies and creatures in Equestria, and your origin represents which of those your character is. In this book, we'll just be looking at earth ponies. Oh my gosh. Peswaga. What is that word?
I
I think
have
that's
no
I
idea.
don't think that is supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be Pegasi and unicorns. And just like every creature in Equestria, each has their own special abilities and talents. That's a major typo. um,
I don't.
that just doesn't seem right. Peswagam.
Peswamgasi?
Peswamgasi. I don't think it's supposed to be that. Crazy. In later books, we'll be introducing more origin options to allow you to play bison, zebra, yaks, and even changelings and crystal ponies. For now, you have plenty of options with just earth ponies, pegasi, and unicorns. Yeah, I think that's what that word was supposed to be. Are you tough, tenacious, and in touch with the natural world? Now we're on T's, not just S's all over the place. Can you fly and use your wings to perform amazing aerial maneuvers? Are you naturally tuned into magic in a way that helps you with your hobbies and other talents? Are you a giant robot who turns into a truck? Oh, wait, no, sorry. Ignore that last one. Wrong game. Nice one. You get to pick one origin: Earth Pony, Pegasus, or Unicorn. They each share the following rules and bonuses attached. An essence score increase. You can apply this increase to the listed essence score or scores for Earth Ponies, or to the essence score that covers one of your influence skills. Your starting health and movement rate, we'll come back to what they mean later. 3 origin perks, 2 perks that are specific to that origin, and your cutie mark perk. Okay.
Sorry, folks. I have been like fully distracted on this whole Peswamgasi thing. Like it.
You missed the robot reference?
No, I caught that
Oh,
one.
I was gonna say
But apparently Peswamgasi. Okay, so from the hilt says
Peswamgasi.
Peswamgasi is the female connotation of Pegasi.
Okay,
Pesgigasi.
see, that's just sexist because we both know that I'm gonna make our boys play, so we don't need the
I
we don't
I
need the
I
variant
I.
terms.
Oh, Phil the Thrill says that he's
Oh,
joking. I don't.
see, now
Well,
that
no, but
makes
so
more sense.
no, but here's
Ah,
it. No, but hold on.
what?
I just threw Peswamgasi in. Okay, I use Bing
You
because
Google?
I'm
Oh.
a weirdo. But I threw it in there and it just keeps pulling up Pegasi. So something in the internet has linked those two words. Where and how? I have absolutely no idea.
So
But
some autocorrect must have flagged in that book.
I have no idea.
Well,
But I
I feel
also
like it's like reading one of these is it webtoons where they're clearly were originally written in some other language and then they used some kind of translation module and some of the words are a little off.
maybe, but I mean, seriously, my brain is still broken on that. So
It broke my mouth. I couldn't I couldn't connect letters and words.
okay, yeah, no, it's absolutely a typo in the PDF because in the actual book, it just says Earth
Yeah.
ponies, Pegasi, and unicorns.
Yeah.
Okay, there are some weird typos in this.
Yeah, I've noticed a few as well. Oh, jeez. Okay. Maybe we should refocus on the book now, babe.
Quiet. If we say it too many times, we may summon something unspeakable.
Something that only talks with S's.
Eldritch typos.
Oh crap, I just summoned Cthulhu without even knowing it. He's gonna be like
Oh.
magical Cthulhu with a little unicorn horn and pink sparkly wings.
All right, let's keep going. Oh, this has been great.
All right, what do you want to do? You want to do the green box or cutie marks?
What's the green box?
Adapting the origin templates.
Oh, no. We are...
We're
No,
not going
because
to do a zebra or a yak.
Right. Apparently, some book has an option to play a zebra or a yak or other non-pony.
Well,
But
I believe they
we're
were characters in My Little Pony too. I know that there was a yak.
correct. But again, we're focusing on the core rule book,
Okay.
not potential things that we might cover in
All right, Brian.
3827.
Go talk about your tramp stamps then.
All right, so you are okay. Cutie marks and cutie mark perks. At some point in their lives, most Earth ponies, Pegasi, and unicorns experience a magical moment, and a symbol unique to that pony manifests on their flank or cheek. These colorful icons, called cutie marks, embody a pony's special interests and talents. Gaining a cutie mark is considered a rite of passage for fillies and colts, a message from the universe about their destiny, leading them on their first steps towards adulthood. At level 1, unless they're still considered a foal, Earth ponies, Pegasi, and unicorns, piece. That's just a grammar typo. And unicorn PCs, gain. Yeah, Earth pony, Pegasus, and unicorn PC. If you
Are you okay?
no, because the grammar is horrible.
I know. It's okay. Just go to this is more. Come on.
Anyways, this is more than just a new ability. Your cutie mark is an important part of your character,
And
representing and your butt, representing anything from their lineage, personality, or what they hold dear. The design of your character's cutie mark is entirely up to you. There is a space on the character sheet for your cutie mark illustration. On top of which, and we have a comma instead of a period. Man, Renegade, get your crap together and fix this. On top of tying into who your pony is, there are game benefits to having a cutie mark. Your cutie mark connects you to the magical energies of destiny in the universe, manifesting when you discover a unique gift or interest that ties you to your greater purpose. For your cutie mark perk, you should pick a skill that you think your character would be talented at, such as an influence skill. Whenever you take an action that is covered by your cutie mark perk skill, you gain a die upshift on the test. Alternatively, the game master might rule that everyone should pick a skill specialization instead of a skill for their cutie mark perk. This means the bonus only applies when the specialization is used, not just the skill. This makes the ability more particular and makes sure two characters can pick the same skill and still be different. Advanced rule: abstract cutie marks. Even the complete list of skills and specializations doesn't cover every possible destiny and trait a pony character could have. You might want to be talented at baking, or even something highly specific like cheering up animals who are your friends. It might even be something very weird like, I'm good with moths. Okay. Is that a show reference?
I don't know, maybe.
All right. In such a case, you get the bonus shift to any action that cutie mark might apply to. So if you are attuned to moths, any action to catch one, fight one, or even dance with one would get the bonus, regardless of the skill involved. With abstract cutie marks, it is tempting to try and pick as broad a range as possible, but you cannot pick an area potentially wider than a skill. So you can't pick fighting when there are several different skills covering combat. Your game master has the last word, the very last word, on whether a cutie mark is too powerful or non-specific for the game. But you shouldn't be picking a cutie mark for the power it offers or as a way to win. Your cutie mark says something about who your pony is. Smaller and more specific talents and abilities tend to make their personality a lot clearer. Being good at magic might be cool, but being good at mending broken toys makes your character stand out. But, and this is a big but, the game master always always gets to decide if your cutie mark is acceptable in the game and when it applies to a skill test. Their decision is final. You are welcome to ask if your cutie mark might apply to a skill test and offer a good reason. But if the game master doesn't agree, then it cannot apply and the argument is over. Having said that, the game master should be mindful of how often the cutie mark has been used and if the player is just trying to play their character rather than get a spurious bonus. If you want to pick an abstract cutie mark, here are some ideas. We've listed 20, so you can roll a d20 if you can't decide. Animal friendship, baking, bookkeeping, building houses, cheering up others, cleaning, fashion, growing flowers, hard stairs, keeping time, nursing, party planning, photography, solving mysteries, sport, style and grooming, surprises, sword fighting, teaching, and tracking.
Hard stairs? What the crap is that?
I don't
I mean,
know.
do I need to stare at the camera? Yeah, I don't. That's weird.
Maybe you can never lose a staring contest.
Don't blink.
I don't know.
Oh, this is so weird. Okay. Earth pony. Tough and resourceful, earth ponies keep their hooves on the ground. They rarely develop spellcasting powers, but make up for it with hardiness and persistence. When an earth pony needs to get something done, they rely on their grit and wit. Earth ponies have a special connection to nature. Historically, they use this nature connection to tend to the planet. Earth ponies garden and gather with the renewal of resources and the growth of the natural world in mind. Of the three types of ponies, earth ponies are the most into collaboration between the different types of pony. Being overlooked for their lack of spell casting and flight makes many earth ponies fiercely proud, while others can be self conscious. Still, many earth ponies ignore the criticism and set out to be the best earth pony they can be. Example earth ponies is Applejack. It's good-hearted and hard-working. Applejack is one of the most dependable ponies you can meet. Pinkie Pie, committed to a good time, Pinkie Pie puts her baking and social skills to the test as Ponyville's preeminent party planner. Apple Bloom. Naturally organized, Apple Bloom is the de facto leader of the Cutie Mark Crusaders, tracking the group's progress and coming up with the majority of their plans to earn cutie marks. Troubleshoes. Unlucky and unhappy because of it, Troubleshoes turned his tendency for catastrophe into his true calling as a rodeo clown.
All right. Real quick, From the Hilt says, in My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, the concept of hard stairs or the stare primarily refers to Fluttershy's ability to intimidate creatures with an intense gaze.
Huh, that's interesting because Fluttershy, even in her name, implies that she's shy. And so I think doing a stare at all would be kind of hard for her character, but I guess maybe that's where the
See?
power comes from.
Exactly.
Very
Overcoming her I don't want to say flaws, but overcoming her struggles, her hangups. Exactly. This ability is notably displayed in the episode Stairmaster.
Oh gosh, that's awesome. I do love a good ironically named episode.
All right.
Where would we like to go?
Let's go ahead and finish this off, and I'll do the next origin.
Origin bonuses. Essence score increase. There we are. Essence score increase. Essence score increase. Increase your strength or your social essence or the essence tied to an influence skill by 1. Starting health. You begin play with 3 health. Movement. Your base ground movement is 45 feet. And if I'm not mistaken, that's pretty far. Origin perks. Adaptable. Pick one of your essence scores for this perk to apply to. Once per scene, when using a skill from the essence score, you can make the roll as though you have a specialization. If you already have a specialization for that skill, you get no bonus, so you'd best save it for later. Grounded. At level 1, you gain a general perk that you meet the prerequisites for. Cutie Mark perk. Pick a skill, specialization, or abstract area you're already especially talented with, as guided by your GM. You get a up one shift on any action that area might apply to.
I believe the proper way to say that is one upshift.
Did I say up one?
Yes. I mean, you're doing.
The arrow was in front of the
I
one. So up
again,
yours, Brian. Up
I
yours.
was about to say you did your best, but for game terms, I was just making sure we had the right term out there.
Up yours.
All right. Pegasus. Gifted with wings, Pegasi own the skies as comfortable living in Pegasus cloud villages as they are in homes on the ground among the earth ponies and unicorns. Even on the ground, their wings give them greater speed than the average pony. Some Pegasi prefer to hover rather than walk, their hooves getting tired faster than their wings. Pegasi manage the weather, a responsibility they take seriously. They know that less popular weather like cold snaps and rain play an important role in Equestria's environment, and they work with the princesses to ensure a balance between weather needs and weather wants. Some Pegasi base their entire personalities around their wings, celebrating the thrill of cutting through the air and freedom of the sky. Some even see flying as their duty, protecting the skies from aerial threats. Others enjoy the convenience of being able to fly, but don't feel it makes them much different from any other pony. Example Pegasi, Rainbow Dash, a consummate flyer who spends more time in the air than on the ground. When she can't fly, like when her wing was in a cast, her world comes crashing down. Fluttershy, naturally reserved, Fluttershy didn't take to the competitive Pegasus fillies at flight school and moved away from Cloudsdale to live a more grounded life in Ponyville. Scootaloo, a filly who struggles to fly, Scootaloo takes to the skies her own way, riding her scooter off ramps. Thunderlane, a Wonderbolts Academy recruit who earned his flight suit and made the team.
There, Brian. You could be Thunderlane. Or any
Origin
character like that.
bonuses. Essence score increase. Increase your speed or the essence tied to an influence skill by 1. Starting health, you get 2. Movement, your base movement depends on how often you use your wings and your legs. See Airborne below. Airborne, you were born with wings but without the strength to use them. How fast you fly depends on how well you took to it and how much of your training paid off. Choose one of the following as your starting movement. 15 ground, 45 aerial, 30 ground, 30 aerial, 45 ground, 15 aerial. So, if you really like flying, you're not so great on the ground. If you really don't like flying, you're better on the ground than you are in the air. Makes sense. Lighter than air. Aerial acrobatics are in your hollow bones. You get a 1-up shift on acrobatic skill tests. Additionally, you can land on clouds and walk around Pegasus sky cities. Cutie mark perk. Pick a skill, specialization, or abstract area you're especially talented. You get a 1-up shift on any action that area might apply to. All right. You're muted.
That's weird. Okay.
Oh,
Well, I didn't intention. Yeah, it looks like I'm
I
not
thought
actually
you were
using
doing
the.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
why are you using your
I
headset
don't
mic?
know. It was just how it was set up. Do I need to change it or are we good?
No, you don't have to. We'll just keep going.
Okay. Unicorn. Although named for the single horn on their foreheads, unicorns are best known for their knack with magic. Unicorns are generally born with their full magical potential. Unicorn foals unleash dangerous surges with the same power of an adult unicorn's power. To minimize the chaos their magic would cause, most unicorn fillies learn to focus their magic from a very young age. Before Princess Celestia and Princess Luna, it was the unicorn's responsibility to raise the sun and moon. When the alicorn princesses took over the transitions from day to night, unicorns became the keepers of magic. Though unicorns have a reputation for being aloof and slight because of this, gregarious unicorns like Rarity certainly exist, as do Doty. Okay, Doty is a word. as do doty unicorns like shining armor, and other unicorns on the royal guard. Unicorns are largely defined by their relationship to magic. Do they use magic to enhance the use of their talents, or do their talents help them further the use of their magic? Also, how do they relate to other kinds of ponies? While Earth ponies and Pegasi split their time working on themselves and their responsibilities, unicorns have more freedom with how they spend their time. Granted, they need to invest more time into their gift than Earth ponies and Pegasi, but once they can reliably control their magic powers, they don't have the same responsibilities as other ponies. They are often judged for how they use this time. Excuse me.
Okay.
Example unicorns Twilight Sparkle. Before unlocking the magic of friendship within herself and transforming into an alicorn as the Princess of Friendship, Twilight Sparkle was a regular old unicorn, which just shows that inside any pony is the potential for great things. Rarity. Rarity's telekinetic needlework allows her to actualize fashion ideas in a fraction of the time of a pony who had to sew by hoof. Sweetie Belle. Sweetie Belle exhibits the transition period in a unicorn's learnings to control their magic. She keeps wild surges in check, but she can't reliably use her magic at will. Shining Armor. A protector at heart, Shining Armor uses his magic to fend off enemies, protecting the ponies of Equestria. Origin bonuses. The essence score increase. Increase your smarts or the essence tied to an influence skill by 1. Starting health. You begin play with 2 health. Movement. Your base ground movement is 30 feet. Origin perks. Magical. You gain magical as a free general perk. Telekinesis. Unicorns learn to use their telekinetic abilities to manipulate objects at a distance, which makes their horn glow with magical power. They can maneuver any object as if picking it up themselves up to a distance of 10 feet away from you. However, this power uses their smarts, not their strength, to move the object. So any skill test they make to manipulate the object uses their alertness skill instead of their might or brawn. Cutie Mark perk. Pick a skill, specialization, or abstract area you are especially talented with. You get to, what is that? One
A
up?
one up shift.
One up shift on any action that area might apply to. I think that's just copy paste from the other ones.
Yes, exactly. Those are all they've been wrong direction. Okay. So essentially those are the 3 races. I did like how with the examples of the types of characters, they made sure to include at least one boy character.
Yes.
Lots of girls in there.
That's pretty typical for the show too, but yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, again, it's clearly the
Well, and I think they put enough
source
boy
material.
characters in to allow for bronies to be a thing.
Bronies are not a thing.
But I think bronies actually like, the silly Pinkie Pie and stuff like that, those kind of characters. And then there's Applejack.
Anyways, we're gonna move on.
What?
Because I don't want to go down that road of discussion.
What? Grilled cheese is an awesome pony. I like grilled cheese. He's funny.
Anyways,
I
now
almost called him ham sandwich, but that sounds wrong.
That sounds.
Don't die, Brian. Not yet.
All right. Now you know what your pony is. Let's start looking at who they are. If your pony is a cupcake, your influences are the spices. A chocolate chip cupcake is a chocolate chip cupcake, unless it's a vanilla chocolate chip cupcake or a brown sugar chocolate chip cupcake. Ooh, or maybe a gingerbread chocolate chip cupcake with buttercream icing.
Yes, please.
Influences are also the icing on top of the cupcake, by the way.
Oh boy.
I like that. Yeah. Influences are the spices. Influences are also the frosting.
So much influence. Oh, gosh.
All right. So this, folks, is where we're going to start to kind of, just streamline what we actually talk about. So we're not actually going to look at all of the influences, but we are going to look at, obviously, the background here. All right. Choosing influences. You can choose up to 3 influences for your pony at character creation. You can gain more later, but you can only ever have up to 3 influences in total. Influences are the parts of a pony's personality and moments in a pony's life that stand out and set them on the path to being who they are. You really want to think about who your pony is when you're picking their influences, because it impacts how you roleplay them more than any other choice you make. Take Twilight Sparkle and Starlight Glimmer, for example. Both unicorns, both tied to the element of magic. They're even both bookworms, but Twilight is a mentor and Starlight Glimmer is shrewd. And hey, Starlight Glimmer has come a long way from when she tricked a whole town into giving up their cutie marks. But the nicer and more caring she became, the more hung up she was about her shrewd phase. This brings us to hang-ups. Go for it.
Something that influences your life can have a positive impact or a negative impact, which I think makes it a hill. Yes, the impact of an influence can be an uphill struggle, and that struggle is a real hang up. Let's look at Twilight again. She's a bookworm for sure. That helped her to be the top student in Princess Celestia's class. But she was such a bookworm, she passed up making friends and getting to know other ponies. If Princess Celestia didn't turn making friends into schoolwork, Twilight would have never have become the princess of friendship. When you pick your first influence, you get it without a hang-up. But the more influences you pick, the more hang-ups your pony gets. If you pick 2 influences, one of them comes with a hang-up. If you pick 3 influences, 2 of them come with hang-ups. You can't pick more than 3 influence, as that is the limit. Don't be afraid of your hang-ups. They're a great way to add dimension to your stories. Every pony has them. Rainbow Dash is so competitive that she can be self-conscious that she isn't the best at everything. Rarity loves fashion so much, it's an obsession. A lot of their stories are about overcoming and accepting their hang-ups.
Yeah, and again, I like how they do this. It gives you enough flexibility that you can make choices, but it puts it I like that it puts a limit on there so that you can't go nuts with it. Because I know that I struggle with games where you have too many options, where it's like, okay, so I get to pick 3. Cool. You gave me a limit. I can deal with that. And I don't even have to pick all of them if I don't want. So I've said it before. I'll probably say it again. I like this aspect of character creation. All right. Background bonds. Okay. Spoiler alert. I hate this term. The bonds. It doesn't make any sense for what it actually is. So it says each influence also has a list of background bonds. These are personality traits, quirks, or experiences which a pony with that influence may have as part of their background. Okay, so again, personality traits, quirks, experiences. It's all role-playing material. I just don't know why they call it a bond, and so it doesn't make sense to me.
That is a little weird.
Yeah, because like for me, if it's like, okay, background bond, well, that would imply that it's like some sort of a link to another character. But while some of them could be used that way, you'll see when we get to it that it's not. And it's mildly frustrating. All right. Each time you take an influence, you can roll or pick from the table for that influence to gain a new background bond. You can even create completely new ones or decide not to take an additional one if you feel you have enough. Beyond those background bonds, think about your character's favorite words or phrases, tics, and habitual gestures, vices, and pet peeves, and whatever else you can imagine. Bonds for fillies and colts. Life experiences nurture influences, but what if some pony is too young for life-changing experiences? If you are playing a filly or colt, you can only pick one influence, but you can pick an additional background bond for being a filly or colt from the list below. It's a bond you usually lose when you gain a cutie mark and suggests the aspect of yourself you may need to grow out of to move forward. So all right.
These are just for the fillies and the colts.
Right, exactly. These are just the filly and colt background bonds. So, like, I enjoy learning new hobbies, but can never stick with one. Oh, hey,
It's ADHD pony.
it's this guy. I get bored easily at school. I once painted a cutie mark on myself to look older. So again, little things that actually, you know what? This I actually okay. I still hate the name, but reading this paragraph and then looking at what they put down for suggestions, I really like that.
They probably picked bond because it starts with a B, because they're very, look at that. I mean, bonus background bond.
Look,
like all
this
of the
game,
S's.
This game uses S's, not B's. What is wrong with you here?
No, I'm just saying that they're doing that with multiple letters.
I was just being funny. But this point here where it says it's a bond you usually lose when you gain a cutie mark and suggests the aspect of yourself you may need to grow out of to move forward. I think this is fantastic. Again, going back to the kid aspect that we keep coming back to, or at least I keep bringing back up. Here's something. It's like, okay, here's this hang up. I get bored easily at school. I'm embarrassed that I can't discover my cutie mark. Here are these things that you, as the game master for a group of kids, here's something that you can start pushing them to role play, the adventures that you can do to get them. It's like, okay, once we've solved this part, okay, you're going to overcome this and your cutie mark will manifest. I think that could actually be.
I have a curiosity about that though, because having not played enough D&D, I have no idea what that does for your character, like literally in the gameplay.
In this
Knowing that you never wanted to grow up, what would you do? Just be like silly and goofy and like run into bad situations?
Maybe. I no, that's again, this is
I'm curious to see how that would play into a gameplay, really. I don't understand.
That one might be a harder for like a kid to play with. I think an adult could definitely run with that one a little bit easier, playing a filly or a colt.
Well, but that, I thought that was the whole point of having a filly or a colt, was so that younger kids could play.
Oh, no. I'm saying I think it's good for younger kids, but it is a different play aspect, because sometimes people like doing that. Like there are, like in other role-playing games, you'll have like the bartender class. It's like, what why like it's a bartender, they're not really adventurers, but it's like it just gives a different play experience. It adds different challenges. You're not the seasoned fighter or the wizard, you're just a guy who owns a tavern.
It makes more sense. These background bonds, they might make more sense within the books that are for the actual games and the stories that have been created. Do you know what I'm saying? Like maybe this kind of stuff comes up because of the way the additional material was written. The other books with the themes. What do they call
that? The source books?
Sure.
No, again, I think so. Again, keeping this contained just to the core rule book. Yes, like at this point, the other books hadn't been written.
Sure, but I'm just trying to figure out how this gets seen in a gameplay.
Right.
I don't understand why have these things if it's just going to be just background stuff that doesn't get brought up.
So all of the influences have these background bonds. All of them. Okay, but this is a specific list for you're still a kid And
Right,
because
well
you can only take one influence, you might not, you might
I
want an
know I'm
extra
taking us on
bond.
a tangent, and I
No,
realize
you're
that
fine.
we can't actually see anything in gameplay because we're not playing the game. So it's just my curious questions, wondering how this stuff manifests in the gameplay. I'm not worried about it being part of the character build.
So, okay, so how this manifests in the game is that this is a hook that the game master can play off of. Okay. So say you say this one. I get bored easily at school. Okay. If you're playing fillies and
Why do you
colts,
keep talking about yourself?
I, look, every pony deserves representation.
All ponies' lives matter. Ooh, feisty.
Wow. We went there. No, so but that's the thing. So if I have that background bond, that's something that the game master can play off of. Okay. Oh, so one of their background bonds is I get bored easily at school. Well, then it's kind of a waste to have that background if the game master isn't going to run any adventures in the school.
Right.
Okay. And as a player, I'm going to want more of those kinds of situations because, oh, here's my background bond. If I want to get my cutie mark, I've got to figure out this whole school situation. You know, uh, so it's something that the player and the game master can put together to make these stories, to figure out how, because the catch is a game master technically the game master is but also isn't an adversary. Okay, yes, they play all the bad guys, but they're not giving you a challenge because they want to defeat you and ha ha. No, they want you to still succeed, but they want to see if you can succeed despite all of the interruptions that they put in the way.
Sure.
So that's how these are going to manifest, is the game master and the player are going to be working together to find ways to bring them into the game, to get them to participate, get them, involved with it.
All right. Should
Does
we
that make
move on?
sense?
Yeah, I think so. It just I like I said before, it'll be interesting to see what that looks like in actual gameplay.
All right. Tell us about influence skills.
Almost all of the influences have a skill listed as an influence skill, which works slightly different from the other Essence 20 games. It mainly shows you the most useful skill for performing actions related to that influence. So you could consider gaining some ranks in it when creating a character, but it also offers an opportunity to take a slightly different essence score increase than your origin usually offers. It can also be used as a suggestion for the sort of skill you might like to link as your cutie mark perk.
Okay. And so here is a list of the influences. We've got 24 here. So do me a favor, roll your D12.
D12. What does that one look like? Which one's the D12?
That one? It's got pentagon sides.
Oh, okay. Mine is blue.
Okay.
It hit the cloud thingy. I'm gonna roll again. It hit. All right, fine.
Okay. What did you get?
4.
Okay. All right. 4 plus 6 is 10.
Why?
So we're
Why
going to
did
look at,
you do +6?
because I rolled a 6. So we're going to look at
Okay.
heavy hitter. Roll again.
7.
I got 7 as well. So then we're going to look at nimble. Roll one more time.
9.
17. So precise. All right. And all right. So heavy hitter, nimble, and precise. And then do me a favor, pick one out of column 1.
I don't know what a buckballer is, but it sounds fun.
All right. So we're going to look at buckballer, heavy hitter, nimble, and precise. Those are going to be our influences.
Sounds like we're a boxer. We're Rocky. Yeah. Rocky Pony.
All right. All right. So, buckballer.
Oh, it's a game.
All right. Tell us about buckballer since you're the one that picked it.
Oh, I have to scroll down. Hold on. La la la.
Page 46.
Oh dear Lord. Okay. Aha. Okay. Buckball is a popular game, a little like basketball, with a particular position for each pony type. Each team is made of 3 players, one of each pony type. Did I say that like twice? No, it's the way it's written.
Nope.
Okay. The earth ponies challenge each other to control the ball. They try to kick into a basket, being levitated by their unicorn teammate on the other side of the field to gain points. Meanwhile, the Pegasi on each team fly around trying to interfere with the opposing team's ball and stop them gaining points. It involves a lot of bucking or kicking. So, whether by playing buckball or through other experience, you've mastered kicking objects where you want them to go, like my children. Wait, what? No, I didn't do that. Influence skill is targeting. Do you want me to read the example pony?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, we're going to do all of this. Okay. Example pony, snails. Snails is a natural buckball talent, fielding the bucket as Rainbow Dash's team catcher. Aiming a basket to catch incoming balls takes as much precision as bucking a ball towards the basket. Oh, geez, there's the bees again. Perk on target. Once per round, you can spend a free action to use targeting to perform a simple task from the distance of up to 60 feet. For example, if you need to place a basket of apples on a cart, you can buck the basket with a targeting skill test as a free action. Hang up, long shot. When you fumble a targeting skill test to kick an object, the object you kicks takes 1 blunt damage because you struck it so hard.
Okay. And then just do suggested characteristics.
That's what I thought. Okay. Your history as a buckballer makes you great at kicking. Sure. Wait. Your history as a buckballer makes you great at kicking, sure, but it also enforced a drive to always take aim for what you want to accomplish, both literally and figuratively.
All right. And I rolled an 11 for the background bond. I blame my misses on other ponies, distractions, or whatever I can to distract from my embarrassment.
That sounds about right.
Hey, whoa. Rude.
Whoa.
Shots fired.
Pew, pew.
Anyways, so that's an example of what you can do. Now, again, they give you a list of 12. So pick whichever bond works for you or make up something else.
Well, fun.
All right. And then we had a heavy hitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. If power is to put something in its place, every pony knows who to call. You. They call you.
That's right.
Influence skill, might. Example, Big Macintosh. The hauler of the Apple family, Big Mac lets his powerful actions speak for him.
Rawr.
Perk, force. If you make a successful unarmed attack using might, you may do an additional point of health damage. But using this ability is exhausting, so you may only use it once per scene. Hang up. Fleeting energy. When you push yourself to your limit, you need a break to recover. After you use the heavy hitter's influence, the heavy hitter influences force perk. Huh! You suffer 1 downshift on strength-based skill tests until the end of your next turn. Suggested characteristics. Some heavy hitters punch first and ask questions later. Some take careful consideration of their own might and think things through before using it. Any pony as strong as you are knows that there is great responsibility that comes with being so strong, but use at the correct time, that strength can help others and even save lives. Consider how your strength is both a help and a hindrance in your life and how it affects your actions. All right, roll a d12.
3. Despite my ability to do so, fighting is always a last resort when I'm trying to solve a conflict.
All right.
Aww.
See, so again, it's just giving you these. Was it Montebank? Is that the last one? Or the next one?
No, we didn't do that. We didn't.
Nimble. That's what it was. Yeah. So again, it's all giving you role play options. So again, I like these. All right. Tell us about Nimble.
Sure. Whether on land, through the air, or in water, your impressive agility lets you move about any way you want. Influence skill, acrobatics. Example pony, lightning dust. All about acrobatics, but not so much about rules. Lightning dust took her Wonderbolt's rejection as motivation to found the washouts. Perk, acrobatic reaction. Once per day, when an event successfully targets your evasion, you can immediately make an acrobatic skill test against a diff set by the rules of the effect's skill test. If you succeed, the effect fails. For example, if you snare trap successfully hooks your hoof, you can use acrobatic reaction to see if your natural nimbleness saved you at the last second. Hang-ups. Acrobatic outlook. You don't see as many obstacles in your path as others, and you have trouble remembering not every creature sees the world the same way. You could not lend assistance on speed-based skill tests.
Okay. And suggest characteristics.
Nimble ponies take their training seriously to remain so. Without daily exercise, the agility and flexibility you exhibit in your acrobats can go away. Your pony may include exercise as a focus of their day or just get it out of the way each morning.
All right. And I rolled a 3, so I'm very athletic, but I don't like to show off my skills. Competition and athletic displays just seem a bit silly to me.
We keep rolling the humble die.
That's true. That's
strong but humble, fast but humble.
All right.
Humble brag.
Precise. You are in touch with the details of the world, better skilled at threading a needle than hauling a box of dresses. Influence skill is finesse. Example is Sassy Saddles. Ooh. A fashionista with a head for business. Sassy Saddles earned Rarity's trust enough to manage her Canterlot Carousel boutique. Perk. Detail-oriented. When you make a finesse skill test, you may choose to use either a move or a standard action for the test. You may use this perk 3 times per day. Hang up, sensitive. You're more aware than most of the strain. You're more aware than most of the strain on your hooves. When you take damage, you also suffer snag on skill tests for the next round. You can expend one of your daily uses of detail-oriented to ignore this effect for 1 round. Precise ponies have tendencies of also being perfectionists. Others may be fearful of doing something wrong. Consider how your preciseness reflects in your actions and personality.
And it looks like I rolled a 9. Okay. I have excellent penmanship. Okay. I mean,
look, if you're going to be precise, you might as well make it look good.
you can write that strongly worded letter.
Exactly.
With great penmanship. Everybody will be able to read that. Okay.
All right. So again, all sorts of different options. I like how they describe them. No, we're just doing 4.
Right. Didn't we roll a 4th one?
Yeah, precise.
Oh, that was
we rolled 3.
Oh.
And then picked one.
Right.
Because I was annoyed that I was annoyed we didn't have one from each column. So
okay.
That's why I had you pick the next one. All right. So, Chapter 5, Roles. All right. When the magics of Equestria are off balance, the elements of harmony ignite a spark inside select ponies with special destinies. These ponies embody the spirit of one of the elements of harmony and embody the ideals of friendship. When friendship is threatened or epic adventure calls, these special ponies answer the call and face their destiny. These special ponies are your player characters. All right. Your character's role is a little like their career. It's the place they have chosen to take in service to Equestria and their friends. Like any career, the longer they work at it, the more they learn and the better they get, unlocking new talents and abilities as they progress. This progression is represented by levels. You begin at level 1, and after many adventures, you eventually reach level 20. At level 20, your character has become a paragon of Equestria, and it's time to retire, possibly training new ponies with what they have learned. However, in times of crisis, the princesses or prince of Equestria may be called again to use their powers in defense against the most terrible threats.
All right. Choosing your role, the elements of harmony. Every player character in the My Little Pony role-playing game picks a role. Your role is tied to the element of harmony you embody. The elements of harmony are generosity. In a world so plentiful, anything more than what you need is something that you can give. When some pony is in need, there is no greater act than helping them. Honesty. Although the truth can hurt in the moment, you know lies can be more painful down the road. You stay true to others by being true to yourself. Kindness. You believe that kindness spreads. If every pony waits until someone is kind to them before they're kind back, no pony will ever be kind. So you're always the first to offer kindness. Laughter. What even is a laugh? It's like a volcano of everything good inside you erupting out of your mouth. And volcanoes are the coolest things ever. Loyalty. Never in the history of Equestria has any one pony, even all of one type of pony working together, been enough. Without teamwork, nothing works. Magic.
Teamwork makes
Yeah.
the dream work.
Yes. Magic. Friendship is the most magical gift. Without it, the world is out of harmony. Your role defines your character more than any other choice you make during your character creation. Your influence and origin give you abilities and powers that you will use throughout your campaign, but your role gives you new abilities and increases your essence scores every level. Take a moment to think about the most suitable role for your character and how it fits in the group. You can't change your role later or take more than one, so make sure you have the right one for you.
Yeah. So essentially, folks, these are classes. You know, paladin, knight, whatever. Which I guess are anyway. You all know what I mean. All right. Acts of harmony. Many of the abilities and perks of each role require your pony to act in the spirit of their element of harmony. But what does that actually mean? The short answer is it's whatever the game master feels is right. But how can the game master make a judgment? In general, by always remembering to follow the spirit of your role and being mindful of it, you will gain a better understanding as opportunities present themselves in your adventures. You can even talk about the real meaning of each element as players help each other to develop their own understanding. But in the meantime, here is a quick guide for players and game masters. One general guide is that an act of harmony must mean something and involve you avoiding taking the easy option. It's not especially generous to give away something you don't want, or especially kind to do something you were going to do anyways. A true act of harmony is challenging and often difficult. It also involves understanding the person you help, so you give them what they need. Each act of harmony should ideally help on a personal level and show you care enough about the recipient to answer their particular needs. Act of generosity. These seem the easiest to understand. You just give something away, but it need not be a physical item. You can give away your time and energy to other creatures as well. Acts of honesty. You should ideally always tell the truth, but it's not always that easy. Acts of honesty involve telling the truth when a lie would be easier or sharing a hard truth that someone needs to hear with compassion. Acts of kindness. Being kind is about doing something for others and expecting no reward. If you can be kind to those you dislike, or those who have spurned your kindness or seem unworthy of it, you are being the most true to the spirit of kindness. Acts of laughter. Making someone laugh is often quite simple, but an act of laughter is more than just a good joke. True laughter lightens the soul as much as it lightens the mood. It brings people together in a shared joy with no one ever being the butt of the joke. Acts of loyalty. It is usually easy to team up with your friends, but even then, friction can appear. An act of loyalty is one that heals these problems and brings everyone together in a team, helping them truly forgive each other. But also showing trust and team spirit to a stranger or even an enemy can be a greater act of loyalty. Acts of magic. Friendship is magic, and magic is friendship. They both bind Equestria together, so acts of magic heal rifts, create balance and harmony, and reclaim what is lost. An act of magic reminds people of the spark of harmony in everyone and inspires them to follow the path of the various elements. So one way to see it is an act of magic is one that inspires someone to perform any other act of harmony. While true acts of harmony can be hard to do, the game master should also reward a general dedication to each character's role. For example, if a PC hasn't performed a true act of kindness, but have been kind and caring to everyone they meet, that might add up to an act of kindness now and again.
Gaining levels. You start at level 1, a pony answering a call. As you solve problems, help ponies in need, and face threats to Equestria, you level up. By level 10, you can stand among the pillars of Equestria. At this level, you have a reputation and something of a celebrity status among your peers as an example of truly living up to the spirits of harmony. Maybe one day you will reach 20th level and transform into a princess or prince of harmony and become an alicorn. Your GM will tell you when you gain a new level. This is based on how many adventures you have done and what you have learned. You only ever increase your levels one at a time and usually between adventures. When you gain a new level, take a look at the table for your role. It tells you if you gain any new abilities at that level. If you do, record all of them on your sheet and you can use them according to their description. You may also gain an essence score increase. This will be for your diamond, gold, silver, or bronze essence, as you've already defined. You can add the point to that essence and gain a new skill point to increase a skill under that essence. Yeah, under then it should be at that.
All right. One thing actually I did want to point out, the harmonies, the acts of kindness, all that kind of stuff. Again, going back to the kid aspect, I think can be really, really interesting. Especially trying to get kids to kind of understand those things. You know, it's like, okay, being nice. Well, being nice is kind of easy, but how do you go beyond that?
Right.
So, I do think it's really interesting for kids, but I will be honest. I think some adults could use some of this.
This could be their therapy session.
No.
Learning new
No,
skills.
hold on. You haven't been around as much, but role playing can be therapeutic, but role playing is not therapy.
Obviously.
Sometimes it is not obvious, which is really disturbing.
Okay.
Anyways. All right. Gaining health. While they may be small and cute, ponies and other creatures who take on a role are tougher than they look. While they can increase their health with the conditioning skill and with certain perks, they also get a bonus to health at certain levels. So every pony may add 1 to their health at levels 5, 10, and 15. They can add 3 health at level 20 when they become an alicorn. These bonuses are noted in the table for each role.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through this?
on a
seems a
second.
little awkward.
Okay, we're going to skip the green box.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead and read this section.
All right, increasing essence and skills. Quick, name a strong pony, name a speedy pony, a smart pony, a social pony. The faster a pony comes to mind, the more that pony exemplifies that essence. As you know, 4 stats called essences define PCs and NPCs. Strength is how mighty, intimidating, and tough you are. Speed is how agile, reflexive, and dodgy you are. Smarts are how studious, cultured, and willful you are. And social are how likable, instinctive, and clever you are. Whenever you increase your level in your role, one or more of your essence scores increases. They may go up at different speeds, so you end up with one very high essence, diamond, one pretty high essence, gold, one pretty average essence, silver, and one low essence, bronze, by 20th level. Although by that time you reach 20th level, they'll all be pretty good. At level 1, you should define which of your essences are your diamond and gold essences. You can also determine which of the remaining 2 are your silver and bronze essences if you like, but you don't need to make a final decision on those for a few more levels. Once these are finally decided that they're locked in, so take your time. Take your time to pick what you think will be most useful for your pony in the long run. You get to choose how fast each of your pony's essences scores go up by ranking them. Diamond essence, your fastest growing essence score. If there's an essence that points ponies, okay, that ponies think of before the other 3 when you come to mind, it's your diamond essence, like Applejack's is strength. Gold essence, your second fastest growing essence, almost as much part of who you are as your diamond essence. Rainbow Dash's diamond essence is her speed, so her gold essence is strength. Silver essence, your second slowest growing essence. Not good, not bad, the essence least associated with who you are. Twilight Sparkle's silver essence is speed. Bronze essence, your slowest growing essence. This essence is known for being a weakness of yours. Fluttershy's bronze essence is strength. Remember, to get better at a skill, you have to get better at that skill's essence. If you want to be good at animal handling, you need a high social essence. Think about the skills you want to improve and the challenges you expect to face when you set your essence ratings. If you're overwhelmed ranking your essence scores, don't fret. Each role has 2 or more sample ponies that can show different ways you can rank them in comparison. When you get your increase in essence scores, remember to assign those essence points as skill ranks in skills related to that essence. For example, if your role allows you to gain 2 essence points in your diamond essence and you've chosen strength for that, then you put 2 ranks in strength based skills, such as brawn or might. In the My Little Pony role playing game, you may choose whatever skills you want to assign your essence points to as long as they related to the same essence. The only exceptions to this is spellcasting, where you can assign skill points gained from any essence score. Man, that's a lot of S's.
All
You
right.
want me to get the green box?
Nope, we're skipping the green box. It's basically comparing it to other Essence 20 games.
Is that why they use the word essence so much, is because they're Essence 20?
No, I think they called the system. So Essence 20 is the name of the system.
I know.
Right, but I think they did it after they decided to call attributes essences.
Okay.
Regardless, they have like it's not hard to read it in your head, but
Right.
I don't think they planned on anyone reading this out loud
And doing this.
exactly.
We're a bunch of snakes in this episode.
All right,
Or at least I
so
am.
real quick, let's just pick 2 of these to look at.
All right. Are we running out of time?
I mean, we can go as long as you want, but
I'm kind of getting hungry, and I could use a break.
got it. All right. Yeah, let's just do this real quick. We're gonna pick 2
Okay.
out of 6. So there's generosity, honesty, kindness, laughter, loyalty, and magic. Which one would you like to look at?
Well, rarity is my favorite, so I wouldn't mind spirit of generosity.
Okay, so we'll do spirit of generosity, and then I like to laugh, so we will do spirit of laughter.
Pinkie Pie. I
So
don't know why I just leaned into that big microphone because I have the little microphone on. I am such a goober.
yes, you are.
All right. So, the spirit of generosity. You put others before yourself. It's true that this makes you feel good about yourself and you share in the joy of others benefiting from your giving nature. But that's not why you do it. You sincerely feel that others' needs are more important than your wants. You would still feel helping those in need was the right thing to do, even if you knew they wouldn't help you in the same situation. You believe the world needs less what's in it for me and more how can I help? Sharing is caring. The old adage is true. You share with friends, family, strangers, and even enemies because your heart overflows with care for those in your life. Whether it's bits, time, expertise, or a shoulder to cry on, you are willing to give what you have to help others. Being generous isn't just about giving stuff away. You know okay, you have to know what to give and to who. A hug will often help a friend that is upset, but if they are hungry, what they really need is something to eat. Preach. Just handing out gifts might seem generous, but if they aren't what people really need or want, it's more performative than helpful. Hashtag Christmas. Understanding what someone really needs, even if they're too embarrassed or shy to say, is a key part of the spirit of generosity. Here are a few examples of ponies that embody generosity and how they rank their essence scores. Rarity. An understanding of haute couture requires an understanding of current culture, which is why Rarity spends so much of her time keeping up with fashion trends and studying her craft. As a retailer in the business of making ponies' fashion dreams come true, she also spends a lot of time interacting with customers and politely persuading them to express their ideals more clearly. Although her telekinesis handles most of her scene work, some details require a touch of finesse. Rarity's essence ranks are diamond smarts, gold social, silver speed, and bronze strength. Cheerilee. As a school teacher, Cheerilee knows better than most ponies that foals need to be engaged to learn. Engaging students is a performance. Once she has their attention, she can share her knowledge. But teaching is more than a mental profession. She spends most of her time walking from student to student, giving her some of the strongest hooves in Ponyville. Cheerilee's essence ranks are diamond, social, gold, smarts, silver, strength, and bronze, speed. Titty Riffs. Oh, dear Lord, that's the name. A local musical legend. Oh, dear Lord. Is that. I hope that's not after P. Diddy.
It probably is.
Oh, this feels wrong. A local musical legend, Diddy Riff, spends his free time entertaining others. As an earth pony, he takes pride in his connection to the land and can also be found helping others with their farms and businesses as a side job. Side job. He is an improviser and doesn't care too much about learning specific songs or studying music. The music is in his heart. Diddy Riff's essence ranks are diamond, social, gold, strength, silver, speed, and bronze, smarts. Okay.
All right. So then
Oh,
we've
do
got.
I do I need to
Go
keep
ahead.
going? The second page has spirit of generosity role features.
Right. So we're going to look at that, but
Oh, okay.
a couple of things. So it's going to list out like all of these abilities. We're only going to look at the ones for level 1. Okay.
Okay.
So, but basically, like, so levels 1 to 20, folks, are basically completely defined. Here are the benefit, like here are like any abilities, any increases, all of your stat increases, everything. Like anytime you level up, it's just like, okay, go look at the next line and just start adding that to your character sheet. So like this says you get a general perk, or no, I insist, or whatever. So anyways, it's it it's just like leveling up in Dungeons and Dragons. It says, okay, level 1, blah, list it all out. So
I
same kind
just
of thing.
thought of a funny little catchphrase because, like, you know, the spirit of generosity, someone might thank you and you can say, "My pleasure."
That's
My pleasure. Would you like
it's
fries with that?
yeah. All right. And so for the role features, just look at these that have the first level on them.
Okay. All right. Spirit of generosity role features. As a pony who embodies the spirit of generosity, you gain the following role perks: a talent for generosity. Embodying the spirit of generosity makes you a talented pony. You can perform actions related to generosity other than actions granted by role perks more easily than most ponies. Once per round, treat a standard action related to generosity as a move action or a move action as a free action. Free actions relate to your generosity, cost no actions for you. Unlike most talents, which apply to a specialization, your talent for generosity can apply to any skill test that relates to generosity. Generosity is magic. Once per scene, when you act in the spirit of generosity, you gain a friendship point. See friendship points on page 118 and friendship circles below for ways you can use your friendship points. Friendship circle. Once per scene, a pony in your group can spend a friendship point as a standard action to form a friendship circle. All other ponies in your group can spend a friendship point to immediately move up to their current movement to get within 30 feet of the pony who formed the friendship circle. It's okay if the friendship circle isn't actually a circle. Every pony who spent a friendship point to join the friendship circle shares the following pool of bonuses: a 1-up on a skill test per pony in the friendship circle,
Hold on.
heal 1 damage per pony.
1 upshift.
Whatever. I don't care. That shift word is not going to stick to my brain. Deal. Heal 1 damage per pony in the friendship circle. Lend assistance to any pony in the friendship circle as a free action once per pony in the friendship circle. Every
Okay.
pony can take from this pool of bonuses equally, or the bonuses can be split unevenly. These bonuses last up until the end of the pony who formed the friendship circle's next turn. One more thing.
Real quick, I know, like previously I said, did not read the
Oh,
example.
do
Read
you
the
want me to read
example
it?
on this one because I'm a
Okay.
little confused here.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm going to say up 1 and up yours. Example: Rarity forms a friendship circle. Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash join in, making this a friendship circle of 3. That means Rarity, Fluttershy, and Rainbow Dash have a pool of 3 up 1, 1 up, whatever, on skill tests. 3 damage of healing, and 3 chances to lend assistance as a free action once. If Fluttershy hasn't taken any damage or just passes on the healing, Rarity and Rainbow Dash can choose how they divide up the 3 healing: 2 for one and 1 for the other, or 3 for one. Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy both pass up their up 1 on skill tests, letting Rarity gain up 3 on a skill test on her turn. Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy both lend assistance to Rarity on that skill test, giving her another F1 and Edge. That's a huge bonus for Rarity, but that's what friends are for.
Okay.
Makes sense?
So, all right. So this sounds more like a kind of like a between encounters kind of a thing. Like, okay, so you just defeated the evil troll ponies. I don't know. I'm making stuff up. And so like you're hurt or whatever. And so here's a way to get some healing. Maybe you need to do a skill test to read the magical scroll and figure out where the evil goblins are. Okay, so all right, that puts it in a little more perspective for me. I got it.
Okay. And the first level is Generosity of Spirit. You can grant another player character an upshift up 1 to any skill test, but you must declare you are using the ability before they roll the dice. On the next skill test you make, whatever it is, you suffer a downshift, down 1 on that skill test. You cannot use this ability again until you've made a skill test and suffered the penalty. Jeez.
Interesting.
Okay.
Let's see here. And then we said laughter. So it's again, a lot of this seems very much geared towards role play mechanics, which is interesting because usually like for most role playing games, it's always like, combat bonuses, combat mechanics. So I think this is interesting that they're pushing a lot more role play. So, all right. Spirit of laughter. Laughter's the best. It's like your smile takes over your whole body. You can't move. Your belly shakes. You might even laugh until you cry. And you love it. Every second of it fills you with joy, and you literally couldn't be happier. And it's contagious. Have you ever laughed at how much some pony else is laughing? Or laughed at how much you're laughing? You're not even laughing at what you thought was funny anymore. You've moved on to laughing at how funny you thought it was.
Or laughed that you rolled on the floor in the middle of a store. I have a few times.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Spreading cheer. A good joke sticks with you. You could be lying in bed when you remember a good joke and you chuckle yourself to sleep. Or maybe you're having a really grumpy day when what's that coming to mind? Oh, right. That good joke you heard. Gasp. Are you smiling? You know you are. You're pretending you're not, but I know a smile when I see one. Good for the soul. Laughter is not just an expression of something positive. It's a release of everything negative. A bad day is one comedy away from being not as bad. Two friends of fighting are one funny moment away from forgetting why they were mad at each other. And strangers connect to each other when they share a laugh. Here are a few examples of ponies that embody laughter and how they rank their essence scores. Pinkie
I do have
Pie.
to say, I have to interject for just a minute. I do have to say that a good laugh cry is very good for stress relief.
That's true. But it's really frustrating when you're watching a reel that's making you laugh so hard, you can't watch the rest of the comments go by and laugh at those as well. It's very frustrating.
Okay.
That literally happened to me the other night. I was literally laughing so hard at this stupid reel, that it broke me. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Pinkie Pie, Ponyville's perennial party planner. Pinkie Pie spreads joy and confetti wherever she goes. She leaps from party to party, firing her confetti cannon before zipping off to the next celebration. Party planning takes foresight, though, so Pinkie Pie catalogs every pony's important dates and special interests. Pinkie Pie's essence ranks are Diamond Social, Gold Speed, Silver Smarts, and Bronze Strength. Cheese sandwich.
Oh, okay. It's cheese sandwich, not grilled cheese. That's what I kept saying. Grilled cheese. Cheese sandwich. It's Weird Al's character.
Okay, let's be like, why would you have a cheese sandwich when you could have a grilled cheese?
I know, but I think it is actually a grilled cheese sandwich on his cutie mark. I like that's a cutie mark that's like got the cheese strings. I literally think that it is a grilled cheese sandwich, but I think cheese sandwich sounds funnier, which
That's
is why
fair.
I kept trying. My brain kept on saying it was ham sandwich, but then I would say grilled cheese because I knew it had cheese in there and not ham. So anyway, we've come
All
full
right,
circle. It is
here we
cheese
are.
sandwich. Cheese.
Okay. Cheese Sandwich, the super duper party pony, follows his instincts and his cheesy sense to ponies in need of some fun. Life on the road, wandering from town to town, wears on a pony, but Cheese Sandwich toughs it out.
And fun fact, Brian, cheese sandwich plays an accordion because
If it's voiced by Weird Al,
can we
why
expect
wouldn't
anything
it?
less? I know.
Right. Cheese Sandwich's essence ranks are Diamond Social, Gold Speed, Silver Strength, and Bronze Sparks. It seems
Yeah,
like
he's
all
smart.
the ponies have Diamond for social.
Yeah,
And then I say that and we get to the next one. Stormy Night.
right.
Two things happen when Stormy Night tells you a scary story. First, you scream. Then you laugh at yourself for screaming. An intimidating presence helps set the tone for her stories and helps her keep her cool when she visits haunted sites looking for story ideas.
Yeah, but we don't like horror films. They don't make us laugh.
Not me. Actually, you know what? It's actually very common to put comedic elements into a horror film.
Right, to break up the horror.
Right. Exactly. So
To release that tension in your heart.
it very much is like this is totally appropriate. You know. Stormy Night's essence ranks are Diamond Strength, Gold Social, Silver Smarts, and Bronze Speed. Spirit of Laughter role features. As a pony who embodies the spirit of laughter, you gain the following role perks. A talent for laughter. Embodying the spirit of laughter makes you a talented pony. You can perform actions related to laughter more easily than most ponies. Once per round, treat a standard action related to laughter as a move action, or a move action as a free action. Free actions related to laughter take no actions for you, blah, blah, blah. All right. So that's just repeating. All right. Laughter is magic. Once per scene, when you act in the spirit of laughter, you gain a friendship point. See friendship points on page 118 and friendship circles later for ways you can use your friendship points.
I think it's going to be the same friendship circle explanation.
It is. All
Okay.
right. So
It has the same example too. So we can skip that.
We are going to skip that.
And go to cheer. You're a cheerleader.
All right. You live to spread cheers, but tapping into your own cheer reserves can take a lot out of you. At first level, you gain a pool of cheer points. Cheer points can be used as a free action to reroll a failed performance skill test. As you level up, you also gain laugh tactics. Some of these laugh tactics take cheer points. The more cheer points in your pool, the brighter your mane. Using cheer points desaturates your colors to the point that you turn a gray shade of your usually exuberant self when your cheer points pool is empty.
Ooh.
Your cheer point pool refreshes back to full each day after a good night's sleep.
That makes me think of like black and white movies that get colorized.
Oh, there you go. No, I realized we were just going to read the level 1 perks or abilities, but I'm going to read this real quick because it mentions the laugh tactic, so I want to see what that is. All right. Comedy is serious business. Luckily, your laugh tactics are laugh-tastic. At second level, choose another of the laugh tactics listed below. You gain another laugh tactic at 5th, 8th, 11th, 14th, and 17th level.
Tongue twister.
Yeah.
Laugh tactic. Okay.
All right. Acting. Spend 1 cheer to use performance in place of persuasion, deception, or infiltration checks involving disguises. Clever Mind. Spend 1 cheer to use cleverness instead of one of your other defenses. Comedy is hard. +1 health. You can choose this laugh tactic up to 3 times. Consummate Performer. Roll a performance skill test as a standard action to regain 1 cheer. The first time you use Consummate Performer, the difficulty of the performance skill test is 5. Every time you use Consummate Performer again on the same day, the difficulty goes up by 5. Horse around. Spend 1 cheer to move up to your movement as a free action. Rotten tomatoes. You're used to avoiding incoming projectiles. As a move action, spend any amount of cheer points from your current pool to gain an equal increase to both your toughness and evasion defenses for the rest of the scene. Send in the clown. You can use performance for initiative tests. Side splitter. As a standard action, you can make a performance check against the target's willpower or cleverness. On a success, you deal 1 damage.
It's so funny. It's scary.
So funny. It's scary. You can use performance in place of intimidation, or you can use intimidation in place of performance. The best medicine. You can use the performance skill in place of science skill to heal damage. Tough crowd. You learned inner strength the first time you made a joke and no one laughed. As a move action, spend any amount of cheer points from your current pool to gain an equal increase to both your willpower and cleverness defenses for the rest of the scene. And universal language. You can use your laugh tactic abilities on creatures who don't understand your language. All right, so
Oh no, look at this one though. You should look at the next one. I love it. Crack up the 4th wall. At 3rd level, if you make the game master laugh, gain 1 cheer point. That's pretty nice.
I have a little bit of a problem with this role. I get it. It fits in to the game
and the character.
I understand it conceptually, but some people just aren't funny.
Hey, I'm hilarious.
I find you absolutely hilarious.
Except for when I'm trying too hard.
Except for when you're trying.
You can't land a joke if you don't try.
No, and that's true, but there are like okay, this one right here, crack up the 4th wall. If you make the game master laugh, gain 1 cheer point. And I do think that this can't, like, especially if you're playing with kids, can end up just like that kid wants, like the kid that wants to be the funny one.
Right, but they can't get more than 1 per scene, so thanks.
Sure, but it can also get frustrating.
Competitive because all of the kids are going to join in.
Right.
I get it. It
turns into the goofball, and
yeah, it might have to be something that put limits on in advance.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, even with some adults, I think this is going to be a rough one. But anyways, so that gives us.
Oh, there he is.
Is that's cheese sandwich?
Him. Yep.
All right.
Can you not see the hair? The hair gives it away.
But that's fair. So, let me make sure there's nothing else in this chapter that we need to look at. Spirit of Magic. All right. So.
Oh my gosh, I can't stop yawning. That's what I get for not having any caffeine today.
All right. So that gets us through the core pieces, in my opinion, of making a character. Now, obviously, we're going to have to look at essence scores and skills. So before next week, Kim and I will go through and put our characters to paper.
Maybe my character should be ham sandwich.
Ham sandwich.
that big booty cutie mark.
But then we'll come back and we'll talk about essence scores and skills and how those apply to your character.
I'm such a weirdo.
Yeah, but I like how they put characters together. I liked it when I read it in G.I. Joe. This is obviously much more, setting appropriate. But yeah, it's there is a lot here, folks. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. If you want to see some of the others, maybe I can do like a short or something on it. But I think they give a decent amount of options without overwhelming everyone. Even even the influences, like there's 24 of them, you know, and we covered 4. So there's a lot of options without overwhelming you, and that's just out of the core book. So any final thoughts before we go, Kim?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Is it making sense to you?
Most of it, yeah. There's some, stuff that makes my brain kind of just zone out. Maybe that's
Sure.
just you talking. I don't know.
That very well could be. So,
Bzzz.
all right. Well, folks.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. All right. So, folks, thank you so much for joining us today. We absolutely appreciate it. We had a lot of fun going through this. I should probably put this up. You know, Seraphis does think Kim is hilarious.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But we will be back next week again, looking at the skills and essence scores, and then probably take a look at the general perks. So we actually covered about 80 pages worth of material today. We skipped most of it, but still,
We highlighted 80 pages.
I'm just saying, you helped me a little bit more than some co-hosts getting through this material.
Okay.
Just saying.
Are you talking
Anyway,
about Seraphis?
I am talking about Seraphis.
Because I happen to like Seraphis more than you right now. So
Hey, not very nice. All right. Well, folks, again, thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here. Don't forget, there are links down below to DriveThruRPG and Amazon, where you can pick up your own copy of the My Little Pony role-playing game if you are so inclined. But otherwise, thank you so much for being here, and we will talk to you next time.
thank you. Bye.